Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver, aka Trans Cat Dad. I'm a trans guy living in Missouri, and I'm a part of a little activist group called CTAB. It stands for the Central Trans Action Block. We're pretty rad. I love us. I think we're a pretty great little group. But I'm uploading this because I want to give you guys some instructions on how to testify, because actually we're going to have an opportunity to testify against some transphobic bills, several transphobic bills, on Monday. And you can actually submit a testimony online as well. And so let me just give you a little bit of a 101 on like what that is, like what are you doing exactly, and how do you do it. So I'm going to give you a link to this. Here's the hearings for the bills that we're going to have on Monday at 4:30 p.m. starting. At least that's what they tell us now. Sometimes they like to do this cheeky little thing where they say it's going to be at some certain time. The working class poors take off work, which they don't have a lot of time off, and they know that. And then after we make those arrangements, they'll suddenly switch it up. So hopefully it's still going to be at 4:30. The reason why they do that, of course, is a strategy to make sure that their constituents can't make it there, can't make it to testify in person. They don't want us there. They don't want to hear from us. So that's politics. Anyway, you're gonna click on the link, you're gonna get to this page, and there are several bills that we can choose from. I chose HB 35 earlier. Short title, Gender Transition Procedures. Let's check it out. On this page, we can get more information about the bill, and that's going to be a really good idea to do that before you actually submit the testimony. But we're going to go ahead and click on the Submit Testimony link, and then you're going to choose which bills you're testifying against. And we are testifying against them. These are anti-trans bills that are being introduced by conservatives. So it's going to ask you here, testify as, are you a lobbyist? Are you a business? No, you're probably an individual, so keep that. We are in opposition to this bill. Now, you write down your statement. You can give as much or little personal information as you want to. I think what's really important about this is a lot of the time people feel like, can't I just have like some kind of copy paste thing where I just click and then that's it? And no, what we really need here, what's really going to make this more effective is like these reps are ostensibly real people in your community who you may or may not have some connection to. Maybe they know somebody who you know, or maybe, and that's not necessarily the case, but it's just you're a person who lives here. And this is particularly for people who live in Missouri, central Missouri. Although it's not uncommon, my understanding is that it is sometimes the case that people from outside of Missouri give testimony. Like, for example, you may have heard of the name Chloe Cole. This is a famous detransitioner who's made a living off of being flown to various states that she doesn't live in, and acting like transition is like some horrible thing that she regrets and should be denied to every possible person. And she gets paid very, very much to do this. Now, we're not going to get paid for doing this. We're just trying to protect the people in our communities, trying to fight back against these terrible injustices that trans people are dealing with right now. And so, like I said in this statement, you can say, hey, I'm so and so. I live in this city. I've lived here in Missouri my entire life for 30 years. And I'm trans. I'm queer, or like I have a queer person or trans person in my life, and this is how it's going to affect them. You can say, like, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you know someone who is trying to flee the state because it's not safe for them here anymore because of policies like these. And it's especially effective, like if somebody is a business owner or if somebody has more social capital. If you can think of any connections that you have that would give them a reason to pay a little bit more attention, that's fantastic. Or if you're just a great writer and you know that you can like pull on their heartstrings a little bit and make them give a shit, that's also the kind of shit that you should write here. in terms of like knowing your audience, a lot of these reps who are going to be looking at this stuff are totally heartless conservatives who hate trans people and don't give a shit. But we're trying anyway. So I guess keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. And I think if you attend in person, they ideally want you to also submit like a paper copy, a digital copy of your testimony, which doesn't have to be exact because whenever you're speaking, you're going to say some things that aren't on paper, most likely. Um, but so here's where you say if it's just going to be virtual, if it's just going to be your digital copy, or if you're going to attend in person as well. So you put down your information here so they can identify you. That's why you're not going to be writing anything threatening or illegal here, you know, of course. So let's see. Yeah, they even ask for business names here. You are going to get, I think, a little bit more, I guess, credibility. They want to listen a little bit more to people who have capital of some kind, be that social or economic. And so you're checking this box, you're saying, yeah. And like I was talking about earlier, I do think that it is very important to show up in person. I do think it can be more impactful, potentially more important. Um, but if you can't do that, this is this is still something that you can do. You know, a lot of us are kind of anxiously feeling like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is really terrible and there's nothing I can do about any of it. And, you know, this is non ideal. This is non ideal and it isn't the only thing that you can do. It's not the only thing that you should do. But in my experience, when I've dragged my depressed ass to the Capitol and yelled at my reps and told them that they were fucking idiots, it's made me feel a little bit better, at least. You know, even if I can't necessarily save everybody, even if this doesn't end up being necessarily as fruitful as it can and should be, at least on a personal level, you know? You're going to meet other trans people, other queer people who are affected by this stuff, other people who are who really care very, very much about this stuff. You're going to meet other activists here. I would highly recommend coming in person if you could. Um, yeah, definitely, for sure. Okay. I don't know if I'm actually going to be there or not because I have to work until 5 o'clock and it starts at 4:30. And then I have to drive 30 minutes to get down there. The guess we'll find out. Guess we'll find out. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of guidance and to ask you guys if you have a minute, if you have a little bit of time, it matters. It does matter. So thank you. Spread the word. You know, not to conservatives. We want to make sure that our side of the aisle is full and that the conservatives don't know to show up, ideally. Yeah. All right. See you guys.